This is James Mathers at NAB 2019 for the Digital Cinema Society. We're here at the AbelCine suite. I say suite, it's sort of a sky suite. We're in a suite that's on the second floor looking over the C building. And we've got Jess Rosen from AbelCine and Sam Sielen from Fathom Camera. So tell us about how you got involved with Sam.
Sure. Well, as you know, we've been manufacturing our own products for several years. And really the goal of what we do is to find little problems and solve them through the things that we design and bringing them to market. And we saw an opportunity to not only bring our own products to market, but help other people that have ideas and are manufacturing things to get over this hump of taking a great idea and actually bringing it to market. So Sam is the first person that we met that had a really fantastic product that was about 95% complete and just help finish the product in terms of some of the engineering and manufacturing, and then get it to market, through marketing and distribution.
Sam, can you tell us about the product?
Sure, I can, Jim. Thanks for asking. So I've been a camera operator DP for several years. I was shooting for the show Whale Wars about 7 years ago when we were shooting primarily with EX3s, but we also had a GH1 and a 5D Mark II on board, and we wanted to utilize these cameras as well among the EX3s. So in wanting to use these cameras, we wanted to hop our audio into the camera, so we needed to be able to mount a wireless receiver. We wanted to be able to make sure our focus was on with an external monitor. So using the ship's workshop, I took some aluminum bar stock and I crafted some very rough but very effective camera cages to wrap around these smaller cameras that we use so we could mount the audio equipment on there. Flash forward several years later, and after using these initial camera cages all around the world on different productions, I had countless filmmakers and camera operators say, where can we buy these? I always had to say, it's a custom one-off design. Sorry, it's not for sale. Early 2015, I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to produce these in larger quantities. Went to some machine shops, struggled initially to get any movement, but eventually met some machinists who helped me, get the product moving along. And now, last year I met with AbelCine, and they helped me, as Jesse said, take the product from being nearly complete to being in a really ready state for production. So we have the Panasonic GH5, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, the Sony A7S Mark II, the Panasonic GH4, and the new Sharp 8K camera. And we've designed this camera cage to be compatible with all of these, as well as additional 4K mirrorless cameras and DSLRs. The way we've made this be compatible with all these different cameras is through rigorous testing, and we've developed a formula where we can allow all of these cameras to be compatible with the camera cage, but not just be compatible, but to really fit as though the cage was meant for the camera. So whichever camera you put in the camera cage, you get full access to the grip, you get access to the battery compartments, access to the card slots, and access to all ports. So if you're shooting with, if one day you're shooting with a GH5 and then the production calls for shooting with an A7S the next day, you can still use the same camera cage. So not only is it compatible with a variety of different cameras, but it's also compatible with a variety of third-party components. You can see we've got a Zacuto top handle on here. We've got the AbelCine Cameo tilt swivel mount mounted to an Atomos Ninja 5. As a shooter myself, I like to be able to take all different parts and build the rig as I see fit for a given production. So it's we've really designed this to be just very compatible, to be very compliant with all the different industry standards. We've got NATO rails on here, so it works with different NATO clamps. We've got industry standard spacing on the quarter 20 holes, 9 mil center to center, 3 cold shoes integrated into the cage. It's a very lightweight design. It weighs only 10 ounces, so it's not adding a whole lot of bulk, but it's giving you a lot of additional functionality to these cameras. I love these small cameras in that they can produce a great image, but often the hurdle to overcome is how do you rig this up? How do you really use it in a professional shooting environment? So that's where the cage comes into play.
Ergonomics, and a problem that I've always had with these things is it's so hard to put the camera into the cage and take it out. Have you worked on that problem?
Yeah, definitely. That's a problem we addressed. We made it very easy to install cameras into these cages.
Show me.
Sure, I'll do that right now. So we've got a cage here that has no camera mounted in it yet. I'm going to just loosen the shoe mount here, and I'll point out while I've got this, while I'm showing you this, that the shoe mount's adjustable on 3 axes, so it can adjust up and down, left and right, and fore and aft. So that really allows it to be compatible with a variety of cameras. I'm going to take the Sharp 8K camera that's just hasn't even been released yet. We'll slide that right in through the back. We'll take the little shoe mechanism, slide that right in here. Drop a screw in through the top. We'll take a screw and put it right into the bottom here.
That is fast, and I see that it's locking down in 2 separate spots, so it's going to be very, very rigid.
Exactly. There's two tie-down points on this camera cage, as well as anti-twist pins on the front that the front of the camera butts up against, so it becomes very rigid. So once you've got the 2 screws in and we snug them up a little bit here, you can see that the camera's not going to budge inside that cage.
Yeah, that was quick.
Yep. And then if you're doing the initial setup for a camera, you'll need to adjust the shoe mount to be in the proper position. Once it's in the position, you won't need your Allen keys to remove the camera. You just, once again, loosen the 2 screws.
Comes out even faster than it goes in.
Yeah, exactly, very quick. And the camera slides right out the back. And one thing I'll make note of while you can see this here, you see we have these anti-twist pins that butt up against the front of the camera. There's multiple positions for those, for all the different variety of cameras. So included in the user manual that we include with the camera cage is a little chart that shows which position you use for any given camera. So it works with not just the mirrorless cameras you see here, but even some of the more legacy cameras such as the 5D Mark II, Mark III, Mark IV, as well as the new Panasonic S1 and S1R that are coming out. It also, while we don't have one out here now, it works with the Canon EOS R, the Nikon Z6 and Z7, Fujifilm X-T2 and X-T3, as well as a handful of other cameras that Panasonic and Sony have as well. And talking about speed, when building up a camera cage, I'm going on shoots where I have often limited time, as camera operators do. Building the camera rig is very quick. So right now, if we look at this, we've got a wireless audio receiver, a shotgun mic, an external monitor recorder, and a follow focus. Just to show you how quickly I can disassemble this, I'm going to pull this follow focus out from here. I'll just slide this NATO clamp off. We can disconnect our monitor. We'll just slide the monitor off. Audio wireless receiver right off. And then the shotgun mic can just slide out there. So very quick to build and to disassemble.
So how about audio connectivity?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jim. So often I'm asked, does the camera cage work with the XLR adapters from both Panasonic and Sony? And the answer is yes, it does. I've got one here from Panasonic, and to make it compatible, there's no other accessories needed. You simply remove the shoe mount. So I'm going to just undo the screw here. And just 1/8 of a turn on there is enough to allow that to slide up and off. And then there's 2 screws on either side that we'll undo. And then we'll turn around and do the same on the other side. Now taking the top section, I'm just going to simply rotate it 180 degrees. And then rotate it around and do the same on the other side. And now what that's done is that's moved the top plate forward about 2.5 inches, giving you plenty of clearance on the flash chute to slide your XLR audio adapter in. Lock that in place. And there's still enough access space on that front NATO rail to attach NATO top handles if you wish. If you want to put something in the cold shoe there, you can do that as well. You still have access to it, such as shotgun mics and so forth. And so you can see you've got access to the XLR adapter, and as well as still having access to the top plate.
Very impressive, Sam. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.